Welcome to North Idaho Experience. In today's episode, Eric and I sit down with Ryan Jacobson. We're going to tell some war stories today. Ryan was deployed to Iraq and Afghanistan with the Army. He was at the rank of captain when he got out, in charge of his own base over there. So lots of interesting stories of his time overseas. Then Ryan got into police work here in Kootenai County and was a deputy for quite a while. Boardman will kill me for telling you this, but he's the guy that taught Boardman how to be a good dope cop. So great stories there. Listening to Eric and him go back and forth is always a good time, and kind of hearing their journey in law enforcement here in Kootenai County, Idaho. So enjoy. Thank you guys for tuning in. Please remember to like and subscribe and share it as you will. It helps us grow the channel, and we love bringing you guys these stories. Also, if you guys are looking to make the move here in North Idaho, reach out. Our real estate team would love to help you, and we have a new app that went live for home searching and resources locally here. So check for that link. It'll be in the show notes. Enjoy. There you go. That's
if you guys poured a glass of whiskey, I would consume some. It's the day before Christmas, for Christ's sake.
That's what I told myself last night when I had ice cream. I was like, fuck it, it's the day before Christmas.
It pretty much counts.
I'm going to live a little. That's okay.
Yeah,
I've been telling myself that for like a month now.
But you've had some like Pilgrim's Market organic, like freaking Peruvian root, ice cream or something.
It's actually it's shaved ice from Antarctica.
It's like lamb's milk.
They dig down like 1,000 feet, so it's virgin ice.
That's exactly.
And they use that, and then they mix it with raw milk from Scandinavian cows.
Nice.
Yeah,
Nice.
Yeah. That's the real stuff, bro. That's how we roll.
Yeah. Obviously, we take this super serious.
Yes, I can tell.
Yes.
Have you done this before?
First time.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, nice, dude.
Popping a cherry.
Yeah.
It'll pretty much be standard. So.
Yeah. What are we talking about today?
It'll come. Yeah. Whatever. Actually, I want to dive into your military service. You were in the military, right?
I was. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then copping a little bit. We'll get into that.
Yeah.
We don't really have a plan. Just kind of organically see where it goes.
This will shock you. I don't have any sort of template or anything organized.
Is that how he was as a cop?
100%.
I don't know how you were so good.
The art of bullshit. That's him right there.
That is strong with him.
Master's degree. Yeah, that'll be fun. That'll be a fun one to talk about. Ryan was one of my mentees. All right, he kind of followed me around followed me around for a while when I was on patrol. Right, really wanted to learn how to do things the right way and be proactive. So, Ryan last time.
Do you want to hear the true Seth?
Yes. Here we go. No, truth be told, so Ryan and I worked together at Kootenai County. I don't know if I was going to play it off like it was high school. Him and his group were like the upper class, like junior and senior, and I was brand new.
We were the cool kids.
Yeah, there was some truth to that, and they could get away with everything. It was ridiculous, but they were absolute dogs on patrol. So us new guys, and I would say like Brock and I were probably in the same class that were coming up that were really hungry, but those guys kind of set the tone for.
There's another guy we need to get on here, huh?
Oh, I know. We've talked about that.
Yeah,
we've talked about that.
He would love it.
Yeah, he would have a really, really.
He'd be looking right at the camera.
Yes, he would.
Fixing his hair.
Do you know what the whole podcast would be? Hey, Brock, talk about yourself.
No, you guys wouldn't get a word in.
No, it would be a blast.
That way. Well, let's dive back. Let's start at the beginning. Not the beginning, but tell me about your military time.
All right. So I enlisted in 2000. First week of basic training was, September 5th or something like that. So come September 11th, everything goes off, and we thought they were messing with us. They told us people were suggesting that this is something that happens every cycle, where they're like, oh, they're just doing this to get you guys scared or pumped up or whatever. Yeah. But then they called everybody from D.C. and New York, into the room and had a talk with them, and they were like, "Oh, okay, well, this is real. We're gonna be going to war here soon."
So you're in basic training when September 11th happens.
Yep.
Holy
That's
crap.
wild, because I signed the dotted line on September 6th.
Yeah, we were talking about that the other night.
Yeah, but
you guys got in before it was cool, even.
Yeah, so I was
one of the college tuition, right?
Yeah, 100. Yeah, well, you have no idea. Then you literally wake up and watch it, and you're like, oh, okay, the whole context of my service is probably changed.
Right.
And then I just spent all my time in Guam on a submarine, so yours was slightly different.
Yeah,
Where are we from originally?
Shoreline Lake Forest Park, so kind of north end of Lake Washington, north of Seattle.
Nice.
So it was a good place to grow up. Like, it was fantastic. Obviously, today I wouldn't want to be living there anymore.
Yep.
Yeah.
But right now it was great. Good family atmosphere, good schools. They didn't have all the political nonsense that they have today.
Dude, Washington used to be great. Like, I grew up in Spokane. My mom was a cop at SPD, and, I was there from right by Manitou Park. So the South Hill, and it was really nice.
Yeah.
And Spokane, even, I know we talk about crime rate all the time, but in 2014, it was ranked 30th out of 50, which isn't bad when you consider some of the big cities. And that was just in 2014.
Yeah.
In early 2000s, like late 90s, it was great.
Yeah, I think certain niches within Spokane were like that. But I went to grad school there in 2010, 11.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was pretty ghetto.
Really?
Even then, yeah.
It was all like Hilliard area. So I worked at Pawn One in 2001. I worked at the pawn shop
boy.
in
That's
Hilliard.
brave of you.
Oh, it was awesome, dude. I had a blast.
That's where you learn to hustle, dude.
100%.
Yeah.
Like, kids talk about like the first job that they're going to do,
Yeah.
and some of them are like, "Oh, I'm going to do fast food, or I'm going to go work at a supermarket." Dude, I was a pawnbroker when I was like 15. So
It makes everything's coming together. Dude. Okay.
Yeah, but that's like the chicken or the egg question. Like, did he choose that job, or did the job choose him?
yeah,
True.
there's probably some validity to that, dude. So Western Washington, and then enlist. Where was basic for you?
Fort Leonard Wood, Missouri. So I started out as a combat engineer when I was enlisted, and I did the reserves initially. So I was like, okay, go to basic, and then become an officer and do that whole route. But things obviously changed pretty dramatically after September 11th. So ended up in Iraq or Kuwait, a month before. So we left on Valentine's Day, 2003, and then basically staged on the Iraqi border for about a month. And then finally the war kicked off, and we were right there in the push with 3rd Infantry Division attached to them. So yeah, it was pretty wild. It was, later on, it was all counterinsurgency, but that was like uniform on uniform, and it was unbelievable. Like the just that initial barrage, like when the war finally kicked off, it was like terrifying and awesome at the same time. Just the amount of artillery, aircraft flying overhead, just
The
missiles
full
being
might of
launched.
the
Yeah,
American
it was
Army.
impressive. Yeah, being part of that.
What was your main role? Going outside the wire. What were you doing?
So we were doing mostly like explosive ordnance removal, disposal. So we take thousands of pounds of Iraqi munitions out in the desert, blow that up. We also had we did bridging. So we built a bridge across the Euphrates, one of those float bridges.
Yeah.
And then we had boats, so we were actually doing river patrols, along the Euphrates, and then later the Tigris once we took Baghdad. And it was kind of cool, except for when you're on a river going through Baghdad, they can just take pop shots at you all day, and then back up off the ridge, and you can't really return fire too easily.
It's like being a river guy in Vietnam. You're like, this is great. There's literally bad guys everywhere.
Wide open.
Yeah.
What's the landscape like there? Like, break it down for me. You're cruising on a river. What's it look like?
So the river, that's probably the only part of the country that I'd consider beautiful. There was a lot of, palm trees and vegetation all along the rivers. More of the Euphrates than the Tigris, because most of my patrolling was in Baghdad, was on the Tigris. So that's the one that goes through Baghdad, and that was just big city, open sewers into the water, and then dead animals, dead people, all that crap.
Is
Right.
it?
A lot of
That's
blown
an
up
old
buildings.
city, right? I mean, is there some cool old historic parts to it?
So I think one of the coolest things I did while I was there was some of the sightseeing. So we went to the city of Ur, which is the birthplace of Abraham.
Is this like sightseeing with a rifle?
Yeah,
That's how
kind
I want
of.
to do all my. Is that wrong? Like whenever I go overseas, I've never been overseas in the military, but when I go vacation overseas, I would rather that I got to carry a rifle while I did it.
I think it's valid.
Isn't that valid?
I think our 2A rights should follow us. To every other country that we go to.
We are the world leaders.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, all right, sightseeing.
So yeah, city of Ur, super cool. There's a ziggurat there that's super famous. I don't know how old it is.
What's a ziggurat, bro? I have no idea what that is.
It's like a temple or a pyramid kind of. So we did that. We went to Babylon. Saddam Hussein had come in and basically built a shrine in his honor with all the bricks saying, Saddam Hussein. But there was a couple of parts, like the old road that was there that went through town. They preserved that pretty well. So that part was neat.
How old were you at the time?
I was 19, turned 20 over there.
What's it like? 19 years old, you're overseas.
It was wild. Just staging on the border was one thing, and I remember the first time a rocket got shot down over our heads, and we were expecting WMD stuff, so we were throwing on our mop gear, and people were like, "Oh shit, this is real."
Yeah.
I don't know. Am I allowed to swear?
Yeah, you're good.
And and then finally, when we crossed the border, you start seeing all these burned out Iraqi tanks and stuff from the Gulf War, and you're like, "Oh, okay, this is real." It's kill or be killed. You're like, "Wow, I've never had that power or responsibility in my life." So, I don't know. It was a unique experience.
What's something memorable that sticks out to you?
I remember going through, I guess, going to the palaces the first time. You could see where rockets had like come through the roofs of some of those buildings, and just the body parts everywhere and whatnot. It was kind of scarring in some ways, but at the same time, it made you grow up real quick and kind of reprioritize things in your life. Like, oh, this is important, this is not. So I think having that exposure at that young age, that's one of the benefits. There's obviously some things you can't be a kid anymore at that point.
Right.
Which, you basically are a kid if you're 18, 19, going over there, especially in today's day and age where I feel like you're a kid longer and longer is kind of what society's doing to people. But
yeah, 19, you're seeing dismembered bodies. I became a cop at 27, 28 by the time I hit the road. That's the first time I saw a dead body. I was probably 28 years old. Mm-hmm. And you're 19.
Yeah.
That's heavy.
Yeah, that is one of those things where you join the military when you're younger. It's pretty good at almost forcing you into adulthood. It removes that safety net. I mean, you had it tenfold. But where it's weird when you leave at 18 and you come back and then you and your parents are friends. Like that relationship changes, right? Like
and depending on your parents, but some ways you've seen shit they'll never see.
Yes, yeah,
you're beyond them in a lot of ways.
Right. The one that had to unfortunately prepare you for the law enforcement side, right? But even that, I don't know, it seems like it's different, because if there's insurgents or you see bodies over there, sometimes law enforcement's weird because it's like kids and stuff that's random and wasn't an act of war.
It is. It's much more of like an insurgency in here,
right?
Where you're like I remember one day I was at home in my apartment with my kids, as a single dad, and then we get a call where we had to go to that church just right up the road here. Yeah. And then next thing I know, this dude's shooting at me and my partner Travis, and we're like, that was like a half hour from hanging out with the kids to getting shot at.
Yeah.
And you're like, wow, that's a quick transition. So
and it's right down the road, and it's where you live.
Right. You run into people that you've arrested and done all that type of stuff with. So it's different for sure.
Yeah. We always had a rule where we're at Walmart, it just has to be one of those things. If we got the wife and kids, if I tell you just to go to the car, just go to the car. Like I'll tell you about it later. But if you see that person, because there's a couple out there that make the hair on the back of my neck stand up.
Oh, yeah.
Some of the local ones that are
We've talked about that.
Yes. Yep. There are a few
Sent
of those.
quite a few of them to prison.
Yes. And they probably have something to say about that.
I'm sure they do.
I mean, and there's several that, go to prison or go to jail and come back and they're actually appreciative for it.
Sure.
It was like the one thing but we talked about that yesterday with Stan, where they actually have some skin in the game then, or it forces them to get sober.
Right.
Right. But totally changes everything.
Right. And then you have the sociopaths that they probably stew on it for their entire duration in prison. And then.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, those are the scary ones, dude. Mm-hmm. And they're just
well, they blame you.
They fake it real well too.
They do.
All right. So, how long were you deployed total?
That was a year to the day. So left on Valentine's Day, got back Valentine's Day.
Okay.
2014, and the nice thing about that was we didn't start to see the IEDs like they did later on that killed the majority of our guys over there.
Yeah.
So we were running around in Humvees with no doors on for the first several months of the deployment. And then, towards the end, the IEDs started to pick up. So like, oh, we probably need some armor and that type of thing. But yeah, it was a good experience overall. It was a long time, especially 19, spending a whole year there, and you're like 20, you're like, oh man. So I deployed later on in my career to Afghanistan and did 13 months, and I think that felt shorter than what Iraq felt like. So
was that a different role when you went back?
It was.
What were you doing then?
So I was an infantry officer. So when I got back from Iraq, I finished up college, got my commission, went infantry, did about a year of training down in Georgia and other places, and then got stationed in Alaska. Those guys had just gotten back from a hellish deployment to Iraq. So they were all screwed up. And again, they're 19-year-old kids experience like legitimate combat where I think they had 19 killed out of, 180 or something.
Shit,
right.
So it was real bad combat in Iraq. So we got back to Afghanistan kind of expecting the same thing. It ended up, we still lost guys, but it wasn't to that degree. So I initially was over there as an executive officer, which is, I didn't enjoy it at all. It's more of a logistician, like, getting stuff to the different cops. And Afghanistan's horrible, like as far as, we talked about this the other weekend, where it's where empires go to die. There's no, like we
Mm-hmm.
consider ourselves Americans. They consider themselves whatever tribe they're from. They don't give a crap about
right.
the lines on the map. So it's all about tribal relations with them. So initially I was doing the executive officer thing for a few months. Then I was a battle captain for a few months, where you're basically running a talk for the headquarters. At that time, we had the elections in Afghanistan, the first election, and that was a wild day. Like, you want to say top 10 most exciting days of the war. That was one of them. We were just getting rocked with indirect fire constantly, and we have a camera like above our base that's looking down on our area, and you'd be like, oh, that one was close, that one was close.
Yeah.
And in the meantime, all our companies, we had outlying companies, through these little mountain passes, and every one of them were in contact with the enemy or, the patrols that we had out. Like it was nonstop that day. After I got done with the battle captain thing, I got a provisional command where I was training border police. And
Were they Afghanis?
They were Afghans, yeah.
Yeah.
And that was an interesting process.
Because there was so much blue on green, right? Like,
there was a lot of that. Yeah, I was more concerned about them shooting me in the back than any of that. Their officer corps was completely corrupt, so they would get their positions essentially by paying a certain fee, fine, bribery, whatever it was, and then they would go try to recoup that money by doing illegal checkpoints. So the officer corps you couldn't trust at all. The enlisted guys, there was one tribe that we trusted, like they were actual real warriors, like guys that we'd be in a stack with on SWAT.
Right. And they were hard, from what John was saying, they're hard. I mean, those guys can live off just about anything.
Yeah. But it's few and far between. The majority of them were, not warriors.
Right.
To what we consider warriors. And yeah, so we, like in a 2-month period, we had 5 of them shoot themselves or their buddies accidentally.
Oh, shit.
So then we're like, all right, no magazines inside the cop. So I had my own little base over there.
Yeah.
It was pretty close. It was in a place called Organy. So there was a fob there, a big fob, and that's where I initially was. And then I got a cop, which was just down the road, a few miles.
But how many guys on the base you were in charge of?
I had about 50 Americans, and then for the region, I was in charge of 300 border police that we were schooling up.
What was your rank at the time?
I was a captain.
Captain, and you're in charge of that whole thing.
Yeah, so I got promoted to captain over there. I was a first lieutenant, and then got promoted while I was there.
How old were you?
I was 25 or 26.
That's crazy, dude.
Yeah, that's a lot. When you got 50,
I could barely be in charge of myself when I was 25. That's impressive, bro.
Yeah, you have 50 Americans on base, but then you've got 300 border police, and you can't trust them. Right?
No. We had this one guy. He was the Haqqani Network was the name of the group in that region that was operating against us, and they did some real big complex attacks. I was talking to Boardman about it last week. I sent him a little video. It's called The Attack on the 4th of July.
Yep.
So that was one of our cops. I was there the next day, and they lit us up, and it was pretty wild. But we had captured their head, like intel / finance guy. We didn't know who he was, but somehow they had his DNA or his some sort of his physical stuff in this system. So we run him through that database, and next thing I know, we get a call from the CIA, like, hey, we're sending a Black Hawk to pick him up. So I was like, oh, shit. So
we got somebody good.
Yeah, so I run down the hallway, and, of course, the border police are guarding all the prisoners. And I look down the next corridor, and the door's wide open. There's no border police there. They smuggled him out in a vehicle. And we were right on the Pakistan border, so we're intercepting their ICOM traffic that night.
Yeah.
Say, he's laughing like, stupid Americans. So yeah, that one hurt.
Yeah, that's frustrating. Oh, and they either paid off the border police or they had their families.
Oh,
or
100%.
something.
Yeah, the border police were totally complicit in it. I slept right next to the dock, and I always had a grenade just in case. They came in. I'm like, I'm not taking prisoner.
Yeah,
and yeah, just ready to go. So
that's wild because that's a state of like heightened alert. Because we talk about operating like red, orange, yellow, white. Like there's no opportunity over there. Like you can't trust it when you're on base either. What were your thoughts on using them as allies there, like as border police or having Afghanis either as their building them up, that mission, training those guys?
I mean, pretty early on, it was pretty obvious that it's a necessary role for them to fill. Like we're not going to hang out there for 100 years or 200 years.
Right.
So we had to get them schooled up at some point, but it was pretty obvious early on that it wasn't going to work.
Right.
But you still had to sell it to your guys.
You did have to.
Yeah.
I mean, again, maybe you're helping a particular tribe, so you got to kind of look at it that way instead of the big picture, like, hey, we're going to fix this whole country. No, but we might fix this little section of this country.
Yeah.
This small little portion. There was, a lot of the Afghans were killed. Like I felt real bad for them because we were going through this mountain pass after that attack on our cop, and we're rolling around in MRAPs, so I feel pretty safe. We got bullets hidden our vehicle, but it's not like, these bullets are going to get stopped unless we take a direct hit from something big. And they're rolling around in these Ford Rangers, essentially.
Yeah, the Hiluxes.
Shit.
Yeah.
Dude.
Well, they actually had Rangers. We with our taxpayer dollars, we bought them.
Oh,
a bunch
nice.
of Rangers.
Nice. Okay, I feel worse. All right.
Yeah.
So, man, like, how do they feel, right? They're seeing you guys get to roll in armored up vehicles. There's probably resentment there.
Oh, I'm sure there is. And on that particular day, the vehicle behind me, it was a Ranger, took a direct hit with an RPG, killed all those guys. So, yeah, I don't know. I'm sure they weren't psyched, but at the same time, it's like, hey, this is your country, fix it.
Right?
Right. Yeah. You're on the other side of that. So you said the Ranger behind you got blown up. Was that like a coordinated, pre-planned attack, like they'd set up an ambush?
Yeah. So the day before that one, it was July 4th. They attacked our cop. Again, we had about maybe 50 Americans there. I think it was 50. Maybe it was 100. It was a pretty small amount though, and it's. I forget the name of that cop that was almost overrun, but it was right in that region.
Yeah.
Anyways, they had attacked that base. They had about 300 or 400 guys that attacked it, and they had it all dialed in with the indirect. They were shooting recoilless rifles at it as an indirect. So we had sandbags over the top of all our things, but they would just go clean through those things. And they killed 2 of our guys. They took a V-bid up the street. They tried to put it next to the wall.
That was the mortar team, right?
Yeah, they killed 2 of our mortar guys.
Yeah.
One was from Washington, good dude.
Yeah.
But the V-bid was the biggest one to date at that time. It was like 6,000 pounds of homemade explosives. And if you look at the Taliban propaganda video, that's the last thing they show because it looks like the base is just wiped out. It looks like a nuke goes off, essentially. But in reality, what happened was they killed the driver. There was a chicken switch on it. So they set that off, and then they tried to send a bunch of guys in, but the wall was intact. So our guys, with the concussion, shook their heads off, and this wave of guys is coming at them like beachhead, and they'd mow all those guys down. So the next day, we have to go up to repair that base and bring them all this equipment. And all the guys that weren't killed in the initial attack had basically formed an ambush on us. And when you're going through these mountain passes, you have, they have elevation, so they can just rain fire down on you through those. So even like when you're popping the lid off your turret or the MRAP, the bullets can still hit you.
Of course.
So yeah, it was pretty wild. It was coordinated, to answer your question. We called. I don't know if you remember that movie We Were Soldiers, where they're like Broken Arrow when they're like inside the wire.
Yeah.
So we had the same thing, but it was called Alamo. So every aircraft in country basically stacks every 1,000 feet or so, and just starts doing gun runs on all the enemy positions to beat them back. And
that has to be surreal.
And you guys called that as the group while you were in transit?
The cop did.
Oh,
the
got
cop
it.
did.
Got
The
it.
day prior.
Yeah.
So yeah, the next day we got Apaches online, and Even with the most advanced thermals, as I'm sure you guys saw this in law enforcement, like you can't see through trees. So they as soon as they hear the Apaches coming, they kind of like hunker down, wait for them to fly off, and then leave.
Yeah.
So
freaking wild. And that deployment was 13 months.
It was, yeah.
Was that your last one?
Yep. So I did 2, a little over 2 years, and that was enough for me.
Yeah.
I, wanted a family and whatnot eventually. So, doing the op tempo was, if you weren't deployed, you were training.
Right.
So it wasn't going to work for that. I didn't want to do another 2 or 3 years overseas.
Because I know you're super humble. You went through selection, right? You were Ranger?
Not selection. I went through Ranger school.
Nice.
So the way it works in the Army is you can sign a Ranger contract that's for enlisted guys. Mm-hmm. So essentially you sign up, you go through basic, airborne, RAP Ranger assessment, and then you get brought into Ranger Battalion. And then eventually if you go through and you're about to take a leadership role, whether it's a team leader or squad leader, they put you through Ranger school. As an officer, because Ranger School is a leadership school,
right.
And it's also a suck fest, kind of a gut check for a lot of guys. Infantry officers have, the option to attend.
Yeah.
I did attend, and I was one of the lucky ones that went straight through.
Yeah.
It was horrible, but it was also a great experience. One of those things you look back on, you're like, I'm really glad I did this, but never want to do that again in my life.
Yeah. Yeah, but one of those things that you rely on later when things suck or they're really hard, you're like, it didn't suck that bad.
Right.
Because
at least I'm not in Ranger school.
Yes. I've already experienced that shit.
Mm-hmm.
What's like, this is a tough question, but I like to ask this question because, like every cop's got their top 5 stories.
Mm-hmm.
Give me like a top 5 story from when you were deployed, if you don't mind.
Top 5 story.
What's the one that you come back to in your mind?
Probably that one that I was just talking to you about. That was one of the most monumental ones, the attack on the 4th of July, and then the day that followed. Just because we lost, two guys, one that was in my company. So that was one of the big ones. I guess the Iraq one we kind of touched on, where during the invasion, we're pushing through that. We breached the berm, started going along. We lost a guy in that initial push by an accident. So we're driving, blackout, with like Vietnam era night vision because we were, a reserve unit. So you got this accordion effect from this convoy going miles and miles and miles, and it was scary as hell. Like I was a passenger in that vehicle, and you'd see these tiny little lights on the back of the vehicle, like for blackout drive, that you could just see at the very last minute, and there was a dust storm at the same time.
Shit.
So yeah, one of our guys, they didn't brake in time, so they smashed into the vehicle in front of him and killed him.
Damn.
Brandon Tobler was his name. So the bridge we built across the Euphrates, we named in his honor, and then coupled with just bodies littering the roads. We drove over, and me and my partner drove over a anti-tank mine, but we happened to drive around it where it went right in between our tires. So I get out and I'm walking around the vehicle, and right in between our treads, I look down, I'm like, that's an anti-tank mine.
Oh,
so I was like, okay, yeah. So this is real.
Yeah, that could have been it.
Yeah. But I don't know. I kind of drawing a blank right now.
Did you ever have to fire your weapon?
Yeah.
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 What's that like?
You train so much at it. It's exciting. I had no qualms about it. The day after the attack on the cop, I got into a shot at some guys up on a hill that were trying to displace and get over the ridge. And then there was another cop that we would go out to quite a bit, Bob Tillman. So it's where Pat Tillman was killed. Mm-hmm. So yeah, driving out there, I remember one time we were intercepting radio traffic. So I got out and we had a bunch of Afghan Army guys with us, and we start walking along, and then we're intercepting their traffic, saying, they're talking about us walking along. I'm like, oh crap, get ready, here we go. You're like looking for places you can dive off to, even more so than you normally would, and then the combat engineers that were doing route clearance for us they test fired some weapons, and that kicked off the ambush because I think they were like, oh crap, they're shooting at.
Yeah.
And so we were getting shot at like a kind of an L-shaped ambush. So we're getting shot at from both directions. So initially, like I hit the ground, and they're like, oh crap, bullets are coming at me from this direction too. And there's this Afghan army guy curled up in a ball, and it was just like one of those movies, like Saving Private Ryan, where the American partner with that guy at the time was like yelling at him, like, "Get your ass up, move!"
Yeah.
And he's just laying down, curled down.
Yeah.
And then me and another Afghan guy run into this little berm to like get some cover, and he gets shot as we're running.
Oh.
So yeah, that was a wild night.
That sounds pretty nuts.
And then we took we had a fixed wing aircraft do like one of those flybys, with the supersonic thing, and that kind of scares them.
Yeah, spooked them a little bit.
Yeah.
Was that daytime or nighttime when that was?
That was a daytime one. So unfortunately, like unless you were special operations, we basically would do primarily daytime missions at that point because we wanted to not piss off the populace, and that's what they're doing. It was a stupid, political rule. God,
some of that stuff has just got to piss you off.
It got a lot of guys killed, 100%. You're like, if you're moving out in daytime, like the biggest advantage the United States military has is night vision and night
technology in general,
capabilities,
right?
Right?
Yeah.
But especially as a guy boots on the ground, walking around, like, an AK-47, you could shoot a guy from several hundred yards. You could shoot a guy with an M4 from several hundred yards. But if you have night vision, you can only do that with the M4.
Yeah. That's wild. So that was kind of a blanket rule over there. They didn't want to piss off the local population, so you guys couldn't operate at all at night.
Yeah, our rules of engagement were really stupid like that.
Well, that just takes me back. That's like Vietnam era stuff, where it's like you're in, but you're not all the way in.
Right.
Like either you're in war or you're not. Like
right.
The rules of engagement need to be set up so that the guys on the ground can win.
Yeah.
You can't hamstring them with everything else, because I guarantee they didn't have that same rule.
Dude, no. It's funny. Like you see that in law enforcement too.
Oh yeah.
I went through that in George Floyd riots. I was on the riot team, and we're down in Sacramento, and it was often like, we're going to hold you back, or you can't have this piece of equipment because it looks too tactical, and they're just worried about firing up, the population. Same thing, dude. And you're like, guys are going to get hurt because of that.
100%.
We were lucky in Idaho. I mean, some of that stuff tried to creep in a little bit, but it never stuck. Whereas like, we look too militaristic or whatever. But Idaho, we're pretty well insulated.
Yeah.
It would have been tough. I mean, where you came from the west side of Washington, and me and there's no way in hell you couldn't pay me enough to be a cop.
No, I got buddies over there making almost double what we're making. $200,000 a year, like with overtime. And you make good money, but you got to deal with all that.
Not worth it.
The worst example I've ever heard on the cop side. So I knew some guys that were in the Rodney King riots down in Los Angeles. Was that in the 90s? And CHP made them wear their dress green jacket on the riot line. Like, why?
That's wild.
Yeah. Why?
Well, because they look super professional.
Yeah.
All right.
It was so dumb. So they got like campaign hats, like that one right there, and their green jacket. So they, that's like their Class A uniform, right?
Right.
Yeah. Thank goodness that has changed. But you hear that and you're like, fuck were they thinking?
Right.
That's got to be even harder, man, because you were like CO, like you were the commanding officer of that base. When you lose guys, I'm sure, did you write letters? Like, did you have to do that?
No, they weren't directly. The ones that were killed in that case, they weren't under my command. Yeah. So they were Able Company.
Yeah.
Able and then Headquarters Company. So I was the XO of Headquarters Company initially, and then I had my own what you call Jackal Company.
Yeah.
So it was a provisional command. So none of the guys on my cop were killed during the time that I had them.
Man, it's still, you have to look at it from a different perspective. What was your thought? I mean, what did you think, having been there on the draw when we totally pulled out? What happened?
That was horrendous. That was completely preventable. Like I understand they have to take the reins eventually, but the way we did it was so pathetic. Like as soon as we pulled air support from them, like of course they're not going to be able to succeed. And just it was like a sprint to get out of the country as fast as they could to meet some arbitrary date. Like that's why we lost all those guys at Abbey Gate. Like they could have stayed at I'm drawing a blank. What's the main air base over there?
Bagram?
No.
Bagram, yes.
Yeah. Oh,
so Bagram was in the middle of nowhere, like totally defensible. But instead, they had to try to pull out of the main Afghan airport, and that allows the insurgents and everybody else to just get right up in there.
Yeah.
They could have completely avoided those deaths. That was awful.
Is it harder to watch because it almost looks like it was for naught, right? Like you go there and then all of a sudden it's just left like in shambles, or do you just kind of stick with it? And we talked about this before on the team where you're looking out for the guys next to you.
Sure. I mean, yeah, I think me personally, like it's the guys next to you that matter the most. But, if you're looking at kind of bigger picture, you had these women at least, had an opportunity for, 10, 20 years to not be stuffed into sacks and abused by their men as bad as they are, I'm sure, currently and before. So maybe that's worse because they saw what freedom looks like, but maybe that motivates their men in the future, the people that actually want to fight against that evil.
That's a good way to look at it. Yeah, I've heard a lot of guys, just not look favorably upon the time that we were there as a country.
Well, John was one of those.
John, yeah.
Yeah, he was one of those because he was, you and him talked, but he was at one of the forward operating bases. You're talking about your talk. He was one of the ones out there they were trying to overrun it. He was, it was gunfights for 90-something days straight or whatever that was. But, yeah, it was a tough time looking back on what that actually, what that meant.
Yeah, I think initially, go avenge, 9/11. Yeah. Absolutely kill the guys, bring them to account. But trying to rebuild a nation, that's just, they don't study history.
Well, especially that nation. Like how many countries have gone in there and tried to do something like that, completely unsuccessful. Yeah. And you got to wonder if it's, not cultural in the sense of the, religion that's there, right? But you mentioned all the different tribes. It sounds to me like gangs, and it's not much different than what we have in some of our major cities here. How do you fix that?
Yeah, that's a good analogy.
Right, where it's like they're going to constantly have tribal warfare, and like Detroit or some of our major cities, Dallas, right? Where they're going to have those gang. And how do you change that?
And we can't fix that in our own big cities. How are we going to fix this subboard country where they share none of the same American values that we share?
And to me, it's almost a rebuild, but it's that lack of commitment where you're completely controlling the ROE. Either we go in and remove everything, right. And they start from the ground up, but they can't be like these little samplings, right? Where it's like, oh, we'll do this, but not this. We can't do that. That looks bad, right? It's one or the other. What are your thoughts, knowing our history? So Ryan, when he got out of the Army and he was extremely good dope cop. We have a similar skill set.
You as well.
Thank you. Ryan was the one that made it okay for me watching him talk at the door because obviously he's. Especially for an Army guy, like he's quite articulate and fast on his feet. But when he's talking to bad guys, like like that goofy smile and laugh, and the whole time it's
that shit goes a long way.
Oh man, it's so calculated. And then it's like get some talking and all that, and then they're like, oh, so can I leave? No. And this. You're here with me. Yeah, it was legit. But like I said, watching some of those guys do it because you come out of the academy and it's like policing for dummies. Citizen, I have stopped you for the infraction of speeding, license, registration, proof of insurance, please, and you're standing right here at the B pillar, and like everything's the exact same way. Right. And then you go out and you start watching dudes do dope work, and you're like, I could be a pawnbroker. Great. But with that in mind, being a dope cop, what are your thoughts on what we're doing with the narco drug boats, shit in Venezuela?
Ooh, that's a good question. I have no qualms about it.
Yeah.
That dope, as we say, I mean, we know plenty of people, not I don't know, personal friends or anything like that, but the people that we were policing on a daily basis, how many of them were dying? We had informants die from it. We've had plenty of people in our community dying from it. So there's I think over 100,000 people dying from fentanyl overdoses annually. So killing a handful of guys, that's saving lives, American lives. Those guys are leaping in the bed they made by jumping in those drug boats and trying to bring that stuff over here. So yeah, I don't have any issues about it.
What's like the counter argument that they haven't had a trial or what? Like, what are people saying that we don't? They're pretty obviously hauling shit they shouldn't be hauling, right?
Yeah, they've got a track. But yeah, you're right. 120,000 a year is what we're losing to synthetic opiate overdose. Traffic crashes are like 68,000. It is the leading cause of death in adults 18 to 45. I think people are saying that it's a misuse of our military. Yeah, is what they're trying to say.
So who else is supposed to do that? Coast Guard?
I've long thought with all the boats coming up, I said, why don't you let those guys eat, man? Like, you've got people out there. You've got boats like VBSS. We trained on that in the Navy, right? There's a lot of opportunities to go interdict it. That one video of the Coast Guard dude jumping on the narco submarine.
A classic.
Oh, my
so cool.
God. That dude, if he's out there, gladly I'm on the podcast, dude. I'll buy him beer. That was pretty legit. But there's guys out there that are very willing to do that. And when you take that and you compare it to some of the things we do as a military where you question what our intention and mission and purpose are, that one's very direct.
It is.
I am keeping lethal shit from getting into our schools.
Right.
Because there's not a single high school out here where we haven't found fentanyl. Not one. Right? And this is one of the safest communities in the country.
100%.
So, and what a way to send a message to anyone who's thinking about doing that.
Right.
Like, you're not even going to see
all
it
those
coming.
guys. Yeah. All those guys driving those drug busts down and looking up.
They are thinking twice.
Yes.
Do I really need? You know what I mean? Like, that's, you only have to do it so long, and you're going to shut that shit down.
Well, it goes back to warfare, right? Cut off the supply. At some point, this is a business. At some point, it's going to get too expensive. At some point in time, it's going to get too expensive to operate. And that's kind of what we're looking for. And I can tell you right now that the opiate task force, they have a real hard time finding fentanyl in our community now. So why is that?
When did that shift happen?
When we secured the border.
Oh, crazy how that works.
Yeah, it's almost it's almost like you make it really difficult to get it in, and it's tough. But also consequences. We always talk about consequences and accountability. Again, if you're that drug boat guy, you're like, you're gonna have to pay me a lot.
So here's a question: Are they finding less in Idaho only, or are other states seeing the same trend?
It's I can't validate this. This isn't my data, but there's only 4 states in the country that have had an increase in opiate deaths since the presidential election.
Interesting.
One of them's Washington.
Shocker.
That doesn't surprise me.
No.
I know you did. So I was on an FBI task force where we do, a lot of narcotics. It was a violent crimes task force, but drug crime still fell into the purview of that. And then later we did special investigations unit with the sheriff's office here, and we worked closely with the DEA guys. So we ended up in Spokane quite a bit. But whenever we were trying to get local rips on drug dealers here, a lot of times their suppliers were over in Spokane. So trying to get them over to Idaho to do, they're like, no, we're not messing with their laws. As
soon as you
know their cops will do something about it.
As soon as you ask them, you're like, hey, can you come over to state? You're a cop. Like right away.
Who dis?
Yeah.
New number. Who dis?
Exactly.
That's freaking hilarious. They know you're trying to lure them over to Idaho.
Well, think about it. That's where we're kind of unique, right? So Idaho crime rate, we rank 50th out of 50. Violent crime, I think we're like 41 out of 50, right around there. But Washington's ranked 4th. So how many different places do you have, like 2 major metropolitans? Like you've got, I'd say, Kootenai County area is turning into a metropolitan area. And then you've got Spokane, that close to each other with 2 completely different criminal justice systems.
Right. It's such a good case study as this is what works. Politically
Policies matter, right? Policies matter.
Yes. Well, and that's why we get hard after like being preventative, right? And that's why it's important to have engaged members within our community. And that's part of the reason it's cool to see the people that gravitate to North Idaho, Ryan being one of those with the skill set and history, like the people that actually come here and are living here now. Because when we go vote, which way are we going to?
Right.
Like, I don't want this place turned to Seattle. F that.
Usually with the population increase, you'll see the opposite trend. But here, it's just drawing like-minded people,
This
I guess.
place is super unique in that regard,
Right.
I don't think there's anywhere else in the U.S. that's attracting this many. I mean, like Tennessee had it going for a bit, but Tennessee's got some shitty cities, too, that kind of counteract that.
Memphis.
Yeah.
Tennessee's number 6.
Yeah. But like nothing
that where
like
you're from?
this. No. Nothing like North Idaho, man. We've had like the highest concentration of veterans and first responders anywhere.
That's awesome.
It is awesome.
Well,
I don't know where it goes from here. It's like Sparta. We're like creating this, not like, don't go there.
Yeah. You're gonna
I saw the look in his eye.
Spartan warrior culture. We were talking about that.
We were talking about Spartan warrior culture the other day. One of us is like, they're all gay, right?
So when we brought on new ones to the team, we're like, dude, we're going to this is Spartan warrior culture. You're going to be assigned a mentor. not having any idea what he was signing up for. We're kidding. We're joking. No, but I absolutely think it's important for that contingent of people because we are interested in, and there's still a sense of nationalism. And you brought it up with Afghanistan. I feel the same way about here, where you said if you can impact your local area, if you can help this tribe and this culture and this small group, maybe that can become a beacon for the rest of the country. You focus on this little small area and you make it as good as humanly possible, right? You try to set them up for success. I think that's what we do here. That's where I think you have interested parties get involved in preventative maintenance. I know you heard this in the military, preventative versus corrective maintenance.
Right.
But if you can prevent some of the BS in our court system, judges and legislature and all that,
Right.
I think we can keep being the beacon.
Yeah. Yeah. Give me some work stories from copping, dude.
Oh my gosh, you know which one I'm going to say, huh?
Yeah.
All right. So one time,
Okay.
I was on the interdiction team, the criminal interdiction team with the county. So we were basically going after drug traffickers along I-90. And Boardman got the opportunity to come right along with me one day.
What an honor.
I'm going to wait until the end of the story to rebut any portions of this.
Oh, there'll be a rebuttal. Yeah. All right, perfect.
So there we are, sitting on the shoulder of I-90. And Boardman was probably, I don't know, looking all starry-eyed at me. It just happened to be there, tail wagging.
A young Boardman.
And
No
next thing
gray
I know,
hair.
this vehicle goes by, and I look over at Boardman to see if he reacts. Nothing. So I'm like, all right, I'm going to go stop this car. So we pull over behind it and sure enough, start talking to the guy. And he's got a little throwdown weed. And so end up pulling him out and got the biggest marijuana bust in Cooney County history. And granted, I don't care about marijuana personally, but this guy had 250 pounds. So that's obviously organized crime.
That is an impressive amount.
Yeah.
So, Boardman was there helping, and it was great to be able to, kind of teach him a thing or two.
I was honored to, help write that report for you. Not taking an active role, and that is not how that happened.
Boardman, I need you to book all this evidence for me. Would you?
Exactly how it went up.
No, but I will say, because we had Heil on too, right? And he played a big role when I was early as a cop too. I mean, he was a great, and you guys were in a car together, 2-man.
We wreck shot for a while.
Oh yeah. Well, and that's really, when he talks about the interdiction team, I-90 through that northern panhandle of Idaho, coming out of western Washington is designated as a high-intensity drug trafficking area by the DEA because the drugs have come up through California. They're over in Tri-Cities. I mean, a lot of your cases tied right back to that area.
Tri-Cities.
Yep, when you were working SIU. But, and then they traffic all that stuff east. What was cool is we got enough of a reputation between ISP they'd slaughter it too over in Shoshone. But they would they'd drive all the way up and around. They started avoiding I-90 entirely. It got too expensive.
That's how you know it's working.
Yeah,
Not in our county.
No, but there was always midnight meth runs too. Midnight meth runs.
Yeah, a lot of them going to central Montana or the tribes over there.
So tempting.
We had a whole lot of
they're like, all right,
heroin.
Hour and a half.
I just got to make it through this little
ass right through here.
Make a month's wage in a couple hours.
What they didn't know is Jacobson and Heil were out there. Heil asleep in the passenger seat, but Jacobson was ready.
He was asleep in the driver's seat.
I've heard that story.
Yeah, one night we was driving with Heil, and I don't know. You don't have to repeat this story.
Yeah,
you can edit this out, right?
Everybody, this happens.
Yeah.
This happens.
So we're driving, and I was the one wagging my tail in that case because Heil, he had a lot of experience. So as we're driving down the highway, all of a sudden I feel the car start to slow down and drift, and we're on I-90, and there's no cars around, fortunately. But I look over, and he's just zonked like, "Ow, Heil, wake up!"
He's like, "Oh, we're drifting off. We must be doing something really cool.
like,
This must be some interdiction strategy. Maybe I don't know. Oh no, we're hitting the rumble strips, and he's asleep." Yeah, I love you, bro. Like that's graveyards, man. That happens.
I've been there. Yes, it's freaking hard, man.
You're on graves from those hours from 2 to like 3:30. You're like,
brutal.
What did I just do? I just completely blacked out the last hour and a half of my life. I have no idea what just happened.
Just brutal.
I don't know, man. No, it was interdiction was a lot of fun. That was a lot of fun and exciting there for a while because it was kind of new in Kootenai County. So it was like
We were kind of setting rules, like making rules as we went.
Yes. Yep.
Abiding by what the books say and everything, but yes, also having to figure it out on our own because there wasn't much of a program.
It's hunting, man. It's just hunting.
It
And
really
it's
is.
like the guys and gals that are really good at it, it's weird. There's like a sixth sense involved in finding those cars.
Well, Ryan's an avid hunter also, but when you're talking about going out and hunting humans, like you've got rules, and there was those of us that really bought into case law. Where it's like, no, these are the rules, and if you know them really, really well, man, that can save you, and not just save your case, it can save you, like it could save your life. Because
100%.
when you know how fast you can detain somebody or recognize somebody and snatch somebody out of a car, that's important.
Right. When you got somebody with, 10, 20 years hanging over their head and they got a gun right there,
Yeah.
it's probably pretty tempting, especially when they're high or drunk.
Right.
Like to make that decision, I'll just shoot my way out of this. But being able to detain them quickly and make the right decision there. And I think that's, unfortunately, there's so many cops out there that just don't have that experience. They don't understand how quickly you can do that, and they don't understand the rules, and that puts them in danger.
That's what I see more in videos. I see
Yeah.
that, the delay, right? Where they're trying to go through a rational decision-making process instead of being so confident in the application of current case law that they know when and where they can grab them up.
Or like not knowing how to get into a car. I've had that myself. I'd pull somebody over and I'm like, I know there's something here.
Yeah.
And I'm trying everything.
California, I'm sure, was harder.
And I got nothing. Prior to decriminalizing everything, it was pretty easy because everybody had weed.
Gotcha.
Well, and there was no probation
was good.
rules.
That
if
was
they were on
good probable
probation,
cause.
you're out of the car getting searched.
Yes.
That's good.
Yeah.
Idaho's a
so
little funky.
It actually was pretty easy, but there were times where, something's off and you can't pin it and you got no idea. And I've like exhausted all of my avenues of being able to get into this car. And I'm like, well,
Yeah.
Catch you next time.
catch you next time.
Yeah, and that's okay,
What
though.
did I miss?
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's all right.
Yeah, those would drive you crazy.
Much like Ryan did, you would have learned a lot riding in a car with me.
It would have been fun. It would have been really fun. Yeah. Yeah. Trooping's different, dude, because you're so solo a lot. You're just like out by yourself. It's
Some of those
weird.
guys were
It's lonely.
freaking good, though.
Oh, yeah.
And,
There's,
like,
yeah.
Seth Green.
Yeah,
Seth
it's a
Green
different
was-
skill
I did
set.
awesome.
It's like long range hunting versus bow hunting.
Yeah,
to use that analogy, you're working in the county. It's different. I did undercover drug work for a while, like towards the end of my career, the last 2 years, and that was a blast. Like I love that aspect, being the one actually doing the undercover buys.
That's got to be so hard, dude. Like,
Yeah, again, it was one of those things where they didn't really have a playbook for it, so we were like, okay, well, this makes sense.
the first time you're going out to do that must have been the weirdest feeling ever.
Yeah.
Like,
I
I'm gonna
guarantee
go buy
he
some
loved
dope.
it. I guarantee
It
he
is.
was.
You get that adrenaline rush, like in a gunfight. There's almost you feel alive, I guess.
Right.
My buddy Travis, he was on the Special Investigations unit with me. His very first and only undercover drug buy that I remember. He gets into the car and the dude has a 1911 in his lap with a drum magazine on it. So I think that kind of set the tone for him. Like, I don't know if I like this.
Yeah.
I know he did great. He notified us. I was the first vehicle in the takedown on the car because it was a buy bust.
Yeah.
So he's like, he's got a gun. Made sure we heard that on the wire,
Yeah.
and when we took the guy down, he ends up driving through the fence, high centers it, and it was funny because he was acting all hard, with Travis in the car with his big pistol, and then as soon as he crashes through a fence, he's on the phone with his dad, like, Papa.
You're real hard, buddy.
Yeah, and
real hard.
he's like trying to drop the magazine, I think, because we found rounds all over the vehicle. So I think he was like ejecting them, and it had real dark tint, so I couldn't see that furtive movement. But I'm like, this dude had almost lost his life because he was a dumb kid trying to sell dope to the cops.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Travis was another of those that rode around in a car with me. Learned quite a bit. If you're listening, you're welcome for my service, buddy.
I love you, Travis.
Yeah, yeah, you will enjoy it. How much of that, man? You talked about how you get how you feel alive. I think there is something to both professions, military or law enforcement, where it's almost like we seek that out.
Oh, 100%.
Right?
It's a certain personality.
Yeah, and not only that, sometimes it's like you seek it out so much. Like I call it. Sometimes you create your own dragons.
Right.
Right. Like if life's like going and it's like chill, then sometimes you'll create it.
Oh,
You're like,
100%.
you know what? I need a little chaos in order to weather that chaos. And I know we talk about cortisol a lot and like the stuff that's assigned to both professions, but I absolutely see that part of it.
Oh, yeah.
Right. Where I know I've done it.
It's addictive.
Yeah. Yep.
It's hard to get out of that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I still walk around every once in a while just like thinking about throwing a match on the tinderbox.
Yes.
And watching some shit burn.
That's been the hardest transition out of those professions is not having that fix anymore.
Right. I'm not an adrenaline junkie, My son wanted me to go skydiving. I'm like, no, I'm good. I did it once. I don't need it like that, but there's something about chaos, man.
But you like fighting other adults.
I do.
And that gives you
that's
like
weird.
There's a good little
maybe that's
adrenaline
it.
up
Yeah.
there.
Yeah, but just being on the literal edge of chaos, is such a unique experience that a lot of people don't ever get to see or feel or hear or smell. And I miss that sometimes, like a good natural disaster or like a riot or.
And it's weird because it's some of like the worst memories when you think back. Like they're not like positive, just like you in a convoy and having the car behind you get blown up by an RPG. Like that's not a fond memory, but there's so much, like it spikes so much. And it's like I don't know, it's got to be wild because there's a part of it that was really exciting.
Right. And you're just hyper fixed on what's going on around you. You feel so alive.
Yeah.
It's a crazy feeling.
It's incredibly unique.
Yeah.
Also, life's.
I remember you talking glowingly about the BLM protests.
Oh, yes.
Downtown Spokane.
Yeah, we got called up, the county did, to go over to Spokane when that riot kicked off. And unlike, Seattle, they actually had a conservative mayor at the time. So as soon as the looting began, their mayor goes, Condon, or was that her name?
No, I thought was it Woodward then?
Woodward? Yeah, I think it was Woodward. She said, they will not take this city. And that let us put the foot down.
Say no more.
And nobody died.
Yeah.
Freaking saved, I don't know, millions and millions of dollars in taxpayer dollars. And it was a good experience.
Well,
go ahead.
No, I was going to say, it reminds me of something that Heil said that he's caught some heat for, but you'll appreciate. He was talking about sometimes the best way to save somebody is to punch them in the face.
Yeah,
the best use
I heard that quote.
Right? But truly, like that, when you're talking about using less lethal rounds and gas, which you guys did, nobody died. Right? Look at what happened in other cities.
Yeah.
You use that lesser amount of force to gain control early, and then all of a sudden your city's not burning and nobody's dead.
Right.
Yeah, you absolutely have to hit them hard and make a show of force.
Yeah.
And put a little fear in them.
Well,
and it will dissipate.
Look at our SWAT calls, man. Like, how come those didn't turn? Well, some did turn violent when they were told, but why didn't they?
Sure. Because we put the boots to them. We stepped it up until it was over. And initially when I got on the SWAT team, it was a totally different mentality. So initially, we'd just surround and we'd have the negotiators talking to a barricaded suspect. Like there's no hostage most of the time.
Right.
So it's like, why are we negotiating with this person? Why don't we just end this as soon as possible?
Right.
And usually when you took care, it didn't give them time to think it through. It didn't give them time to make peace with God. And so they would usually end up surrendering in cuffs. There was a handful of times that it didn't, but that was their choice.
Yeah, but a lot of times that would save them. Right?
Sure, 100%.
And freaking negotiators. Are you going to talk some trash?
Oh yeah, I forgot. I'm talking about SWAT board, but not negotiator board.
Well, honestly, but even when I went from SWAT to negotiation, that was a lot of fun because I had a totally different mentality.
See, you understood that though.
Yeah.
There was plenty of guys on the negotiation team, I think, that didn't understand that. They wanted to talk them out. They wanted to just talk until they fell asleep.
Are we back to that though now? Is it back to surround and call out? I know for a while it was hit the door, go inside.
Oh, there's no more dynamic.
We haven't done that in years.
No.
Unless there's something pushing, HRT or something like that. But that was an interesting transition going because I did get it. And the guys are out there. And I thought about being on that perimeter. The longer you're out there, the more exposed you are, the better opportunity they have to plan. So there is an element of, I'm not going to sit out here and wait for 2.5 hours for you. And that was a fun time to be a negotiator because I'd get them on the phone and say, hey, here's what's up. I can control the outcome of this if you do this, this, and this. But you have a timeline.
I got a lot of guys chomping at the bit to come kick your ass.
Oh yeah. Well, or I'd tell them, be like, you're in Mama's house, and Mama's house is not going to be livable after this. Like, we're going to gas it.
You're going to tear the walls down.
That's a good motivation.
You're going to come like, don't be. I know you're not that guy, right? You don't want to wreck her house and make it not livable. Like, you're coming out and you're coming to us. Like that's.
Oh yeah,
not negotiable. But that was fun, and that we did transition. That kind of helped it because if it was just a barricade, and we had good righteous charges, bro, you're coming up.
Oh yeah,
that was a lot of fun.
You're not gonna walk away at some point, right?
No.
Yeah.
We were on the one where like the whole we were playing firefighter, and the building was on fire up there in Hayden. God, I think you were because I was on drill. I came in my like Navy digits.
Oh yeah. No, I was up in the Bearcat looking at the door.
That was wild. Were they like lit a dog on fire or something?
Yeah, that was a good one.
Yeah, that one.
Yeah, no, I was one of the first couple guys on scene on that one.
I felt like a real hero, dude. I got a fire hose. We were trying to put out a fire.
He shot through the walls at an incoming vehicle.
Yep. Yeah.
He was.
That's pretty righteous.
Yeah, he had shot at his girlfriend already, and we got her out. But
then you were out there when I got to dismantle the house in Post Falls.
Oh yeah, that was my uncle's old house. He had sold it,
Oh, no way.
Yeah, and it was funny because I told him about it because I was on the narcotics team at that point, so I had gone home early, and they were doing a drug buy, so I was kind of listening to it on the wire. And next thing I know, I hear one of our Post Falls guys that was on our team say, "Shit, we got an officer down." So I was like, "Oh." Called the wife, "Hey, get back here now." And I threw all my stuff and headed straight to the house. And there was a Post Falls officer behind the building. And they're like, "Hey, she's pinned down." So I was like, "Oh, shit." So me and another guy did like the Mogadishu Mile, like around the block to get to her, pulled her out. And then, then we just sat there for hours and hours and watched you guys do work. Because I was a sniper at that time. So it froze my ass off on the backside.
I got to completely dismantle a house. That
Yeah,
may have been my favorite moment ever. And at some point, this may or may not have happened. All right. Somebody's like, "I'll bet you can't pull that couch out through the front door." And I was like,
challenge accepted.
Yeah, grab the corner and yank it. We were clearing a space so the robot could get in more safely.
Sense.
All right, that's exactly
That makes
what
sense.
we're doing, in case
Having
anybody's
seen that
listening.
on my own house, so we tore our house down,
Yeah.
and we had the SWAT team come out
nice.
and do that.
That'd be fun.
It was amazing. Yeah, I've never seen that before. The giant boom on the front of the
you can
Bearcat.
you can put gas in that and insert
Get
gas.
out
with
of
that.
here.
Yeah,
You can
insert gas through that
ejaculate gas into a building through that thing.
100 Yeah, I mean you got to like.
That is nothing more masculine.
It's got a
It
certain
was a
motion.
man that
Yeah.
designed it.
Of course.
It might have been a submariner because you have to go like this on the side.
Oh, 100%.
You have to like
I'm gonna
use the
penetrate
thumbstick.
your wall and then ejaculate gas into it.
Yes.
Wow.
We couldn't have one podcast without.
No, I'm sorry.
Homo
Yeah,
stuff.
I
dude.
couldn't help it.
No, it's
Well,
all
we
right,
already
dude.
crossed
I
that line with
completely
Spartans. Yeah.
So everybody makes fun of submariners. It is no different than Army or Marines in the field. It's no different.
I mean, we're kind of joking about it, though.
You know, I used to make Nordman really uncomfortable. She's like, "I never know if you're serious or not."
I am serious.
It's part of
Let's find out.
It's part of the method, big fella. No, dude, it's interesting because you and I are both out of law enforcement now. Mm-hmm. I miss the dudes.
Yep.
Right. I miss some of the like back in the banter and messing around, and then like actually taking like a big chess piece off the board. I miss some of that. But
Right.
the rest of it, I'm good.
Yeah. The politics, no thank you.
Yeah. When you got a lot more freedom now too.
Yeah. 100%. That's been the biggest benefit.
Yeah.
You know, I got a special needs son, so I needed time, especially when I was a single dad.
Yeah.
Trying to, make time, especially with the law enforcement career. Like, I'm
so hard.
burning candle at both ends and not making my obligations on either. So it's been good.
Yeah.
Now that I've had time to reflect on it, I guess it's
Yeah.
been good. It was tough in the beginning.
Well, yeah, dude, because you are a. When I was talking about that, I mean, talking about both of us or all three of us, really, but we you get addicted to some of that stuff, and like you'll create your own dragons, right? Because man, you're a war fighter, like that's what you are. But then you kind of you reprioritize things.
You have to,
and you
That's the
realize
only way
what's
to
important. But that's
make it.
the way you said that is very similar. I've felt that way before, where you're trying to do everything really, really well, and you can't. Like there's just not enough time in the day. Like to do that job right, when you were working SIU, and I was on CAT, and or even OTF. Like if you're going to do that job right, it's everything.
Yeah.
How do you fill that void of missing?
No, I've thought about that a lot, and there's no real good answer that I've come up with. Obviously I like hunting. That's time to get out in the woods, reflect. You get a couple little moments of adrenaline through that. But you just got to kind of accept that that's in your past. That's a former life, and it was fun while it lasted. But every good thing comes to an end.
Yeah. Good way.
Let's make no mistake, you're a lot older now.
You're
a lot older than me.
I still feel 18. No, wait, older than you. I mean,
I'm
I got a couple more miles.
I'm like 3 days older than he is. I think, or
one
something.
day.
Yeah,
One day.
That's what. Yeah. 1 day older than he is, which reminds me of.
I got a lot more gray though.
Yeah, on my birthday, I'll be like, "Hey, what's that like? What's that like being 43?" Which it'll be this year. Shut up. We joined the service almost at the same time, which is wild.
Shit, you guys are like spring chickens, man.
I know.
I'm an old man.
How old are you?
45.
Okay.
Yeah.
A couple years on us.
I've been the youngest in everything my whole life. I was the youngest of 3 boys. Everything I ever did, I was the youngest. And I joined this team, and now I'm a fucking old guy.
Grandpa.
Yeah, but wait, we just did a dumb reel, okay? And who had to be Santa Claus? This guy.
Yeah, well, you got
okay,
more
not
great
the older
than I do, apparently.
I earned it. That's because I worked with guys like this.
Oh,
Telling me I was riding his coattails the whole freaking time. Thanks for letting me take part in that, by the way.
You're welcome, buddy.
Boardman, how you filling that void?
Man, I'm lucky to be with the group, right? I'm lucky to be with the group that I am because I think a lot of us, we have some of that anyways. And otherwise, I just like to stir up drama, right? Like stir and create a dragon here and there. But truly the business and growing a business, it's always got something to problem solve, which kind of gives me a little bit of that back. But the Judicial Watch has been big for me. This podcast has been really big for me because Ryan and I talked about this the other night when we were at the Headlands. Like, there's nobody's First Amendment rights that are more suppressed than a cop.
100%.
Like, their policy, which sucks because some of your perspective, not only from being overseas, but then coming back and correlating that to what's going on here in our community is valuable.
Right.
How do you can't replicate that experience.
No.
It's perspective. So that part of it's been really big for me.
Yeah.
And I realized that, like, it takes me longer to recover from some of the dumb stuff that we used to do. Stories were really, really good. Being able to talk about some of those.
Yeah.
We were just talking about the one the other day on Emma, where the guy Ace Ventura'd himself out the.
Oh yeah.
Where he was like stuck. Oh god, that was epic. That was standing right next to Cantrell. That was legend. Because I'm firing I was new guy. Like, I was new guy on the SWAT team, and I'm firing ferret rounds into the attic. We're like, he escaped. Like, there was a bad perimeters. No way he's still up there. We're firing ferret rounds, and I'm probably lucky I didn't hit him. All of a sudden, I'm looking up 2 stories, and I'm looking in a hole, and I'm like, what is that? So there's a ferret round like this, and all I see is this. And I was like, Helen, did you see that? He just flipped me off. And I was like, holy shit, he's still up there.
Send some more.
Yes. And then they Spokane put a charge up there in order to
little charge.
blew an adjoining AC unit out of him. Oh god!
All the windows of the building just shattered.
It was
a little hot.
Yes, and then in order to assist him down, we used the boom off a fire truck, and we sent 2 guys up there, and it was just like thrashing around in the boom of that truck. But he was taken into custody safely and unharmed.
Good day.
It was epic. So some of those stories are great. I'm very as well. You should be like very proud of my career. Very proud.
Oh, I am. I'm proud of you.
Oh no, I think
anytime a protege is like really.
You son of a bitch. You know what? You know who listens to you talk like this? Fancy. And then he tries to do the same thing to me. I was like, no. That was the other way around. I taught you. Heil told me that you need to speed Fancy up, so he's going to put him in the car with me.
I like it.
100%. No, but truly, like, the way that we did it, that was the only way. And I don't know if there was any way that we were ever going to make it to 30 the way we were doing it. Because I wanted to be I was a street cop. Like, sergeant was as high as I wanted to go.
Yeah.
Sergeant was fun, having the guys look back at you, briefing, and be able to control their motivation and back them up. And actually having a sarge that understands case law and can help them, right? That was a blast. I enjoyed that a lot, but I was never going to go any higher.
Right.
I didn't want to.
Yeah.
Right? And you got a taste for that when you were in command.
Yeah, so we talked about that the other day too. It's like, okay, as an officer, like, being a platoon leader is awesome. You know, you get your guys, you're close to them, you're mentoring them, and then next, you go up to a commander of a company. So now you have a couple lieutenants underneath you, and all the enlisted guys are under you as well, but it's different. You're not one of the dudes. You're not. It's like this experience. How you guys got a lot of
right.
The same sort of experiences where you some things suck, some things are cool, but like you get along. At the end of the day, you're all buddies. In there, it's a little different. You got to have a kind of a separation because you might be the one sending these guys to their deaths eventually. So
right. Yeah, that's got to be freaking tough. I mean, you catch some of that with like Band of Brothers, where it's like, don't get too close, right? Like, you got to lead them, and you got to
That'd
be hell. That'd be real hard.
Yeah, it's a fine line to do because you want to be close to them, you want them to respect you,
right?
But you can't like have them think that you're one of the dudes.
Yeah, and I think we're just really, really lucky, especially living where we do. But on the SWAT team, it's not much different. Mm-hmm. Like, you're determining where people are going in the stack, and that could go really bad, really fast. We've just been kind of. I always say, are we lucky or are we good? And I think it's a combination of both.
Yeah.
If you get somebody that's truly committed,
and I want to talk about that. Like I think somebody said that, like, the more time you're on the perimeter, or you're a target.
Yeah.
And like, that's a lot of what we trained in sniper training. Like, when we'd go over to Spokane and train with their snipers every 2 weeks, and you could sit in a building, at the back of a room, shoot through an outlet, that's hollowed out and hit somebody like, 100 yards away. You're like, okay, guys need to think about that sort of thing. And guys that aren't snipers probably don't think about that as much. The ones poking their heads out like that all the time.
Yeah.
Like, if you come across one of those 1%ers And we did that one time with that SEAL south of the river. Like we got lucky that he turned himself in peacefully.
Seth Farwell.
Well, mostly peacefully.
Yeah. Well, I mean, but again, man, I think about him a lot because he's since passed, which was like just a surgery gone bad, and it should have been pretty basic. It's super unfortunate because within a week or two, he wanted to come talk to our SWAT team and apologize. But it's one of those where dude's a warrior, like undeniable.
And we had us coming on the back, the snipers were coming. We had a Marine recon guy. We had me. We had Gilmore. And as we're coming up, this guy comes running out of the house with a plate carrier and a rifle. Yeah. And that wasn't Seth. So we're like, okay, what's going on?
That's a very uncomfortable feeling. And with the population that we have up here, I mean, chances are it's more likely to happen, right? There are a lot of guys up here like that.
He was a Team 6 medic and canine handler, wasn't he?
Yeah, and he was a black belt in jiu-jitsu.
Stud.
Yeah, he's a beast. And that was, one of those, if they are truly committed, but that wasn't, I don't think his intention was ever to harm us. But I think he was at that moment, right, where there wasn't a dragon to slay anymore. And it's that weird transition. And that's where you see really good people like break bad, right? And it takes a hell of a lot to come back.
Right.
You know what I mean? And that's a tough one.
That one was tough just because it was, a veteran in crisis. You're like, he's struggling.
Oh, yeah.
So, especially with all the veterans that we had on scene, you're like, oh, man,
dude, I remember
this could easily be one of us.
He was really mad at me because I kind of talked him into the position where we took him. Oh, he was pissed because I wasn't totally honest because I really didn't want to.
Right.
Yeah, I didn't want to hurt him, but it was crazy. But that's one of those. That one sticks out for me. I still remember that one well, just because I felt bad. There wasn't any part. This isn't a bad guy.
Sure.
He could still absolutely kill us, but he's not a bad guy. We had a really interesting one. I was showing a house up on Three Forks. You remember when you were out in the woods on that one, and it was
me and Brock,
and there were like tunnels, or he had like the.
Was this the one where the guy had the cannon?
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And there was like wired.
Nobody
propane.
told me he had a cannon.
Oh.
So me and Brock get. I talked to Heil. He was the commander, and I'm like, hey, can we get behind the house so we can get eyes on? Yeah. So we're creeping through the woods, and all of a sudden I hear kaboom! And I'm like, what the fuck was that?
Yeah, you're taken back. You're like, is that anti-tank mine?
And Brock's like, oh yeah, he has a cannon. I'm like, oh, what the hell?
Good looking out, Brock. Thanks for the heads up. Yeah.
Only in North Idaho.
Go right back to an IED, but that one was a wild one. Yeah. Jacobson was what you call a bit of a he was a bit of a shit magnet.
Yeah, man.
As were you.
Yeah. Oh yeah. There was a handful. But he's one of those that like to go hands on. Little freaking spider monkey, dude.
Well, if the commies ever invade, you know what I mean? I feel like we'll have a second calling. Yeah. Yeah.
That was in Spokane, right? The second Red Dawn.
Yeah. Yeah, it was. Matter of fact. But they had to film it in Minnesota because Washington charged them too much.
Oh, God.
So that movie, the setting wasn't Spokane.
The trees weren't right.
Yes. No, they said, honestly, it would have cost too much to film in Washington because Washington. Yeah. And so they went and filmed it in another state to take place in Spokane. It makes sense if you don't think about it.
100%.
See what happens when you have a $9 billion tax increase?
Policies matter.
I know. See? Two decent, well, I mean, if you really lower your standards, two decent dudes from Washington State now living in North Idaho.
There you go.
Because of policy.
Two of many.
I know it.
And a Californian.
Yeah. I don't call myself that.
Sorry.
That's all right.
Those are fighting words.
I grew up on the East Coast. I moved there. And
you grew up in New York.
Yeah.
Okay.
I've lived in 8 states. So people are always like, well, are you from California? I'm like, well, is it where I'm born? Or is it where I came from last?
If you got to ask that question, it sounds like you're hiding something.
Do I pick one in the middle? I don't know. Yeah. So. No, East Coaster, I guess. But not that that's much better these days.
Sure.
Pretty woke over there, too, unfortunately.
Yeah. Well, we'll tell you this, man. I know you got some things coming with Griffin, who you mentioned special needs. You got some stuff that you're doing in regards to that. When you kick that business off, bro, we'll definitely.
Yeah, we'd love to help support you, brother.
We'll definitely have
I like
you
it.
on
Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Good on you, bro.
Yeah.
It's good to see you as always.
Yeah, you guys as well. Nice to meet you, sir.
Yeah, you too, man. Been a good conversation, man. Nice getting to know you.
And much like our previous profession, if you need any like mentorship or business advice or anything like that, if you'd like to, you could ride along with me for the rest of the day if you want.
I appreciate that.
It'd be totally fine.
I was thinking about asking Seth actually.
It's because you're a good judge of character.
I won't give you as much shit. I definitely won't give you as much shit.
No, awesome.
I might be a little more laid back though.
North Idaho's a better place because we got dudes like you in it.
Hells yes.
Cheers to you.
Yes.
You as well.
Thank you, brother.
Yeah.
All right.